Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday, September 9th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And I backed out a little bit so you could see the trend. I wasn't real sure about this. Is what I saw early. I wasn't real sure until prices continued to bounce down this, but man, they were really struggling to sell it off there. We finally got a break. We tried to get a new low and couldn't. But notice this little two-tier channel working up, so we had the break and the retest of that, and this was just really unexpected, but you see we still ended up coming back and getting the retest with a new low. So even though you don't know exactly how it's going to work out, it still followed the rules on both ends. The real key is just following these short-term trends because they really help you to stay on the right side. That if you had this one drawn, it would have alerted you to this little reversal here. And of course, you got this one coming up. You get a break here, and it tries to go up and retest, but it doesn't, and man, it just sells off. And they tried really hard here to take it down to a new low, but could not do it after this break. But they ran it up, and then they took it down from there. So they probably trapped a lot of longs in on the way up here. It was real tempting to chase this. And there's actually a long right here that I didn't circle. I'm going to go ahead and circle that one. I meant to circle it and forgot to. So let's put it on there so I don't forget to talk about it. But that's what I saw in the big picture. You can see the channel working down. The one I posted one originally that was a little bit steeper than this. So when prices went through it right here, I had to readjust. And if you kind of catch all of these down through here and then pull it up, it fits real nicely. Um, so even, regardless, sometimes, you just have to kind of adjust it as the day goes. And there was another one down here. Originally, I had the real short term one. There's a real short term one here, and then a correction, a new high. And you can see that little congestive area right in there, and so that's your little correction, and then it went on up. In the bigger picture, there was a trend right here with a break in the new high. So sometimes you just have to adjust. Not much you can do otherwise, and if it's not fitting, if your price action isn't fitting real well, then just readjust, and that's all you can do. And it may be, looking at it now after the fact, it could be, let me just draw this without taking the other one off. It could be that this is down here like so. You bring this one up. So it's obvious some people saw it like that, and this was the first break, and then it sold off. Let me see what the midline looks like right there. It actually looks pretty good. Doesn't fit, still doesn't fit perfectly, so I'm going to go with what I've got there. Now, deleted the wrong one. Let's bring this one back. So I'm going to stay with what you see right there. I believe that to be it. Fits pretty nicely. This might actually be a little bit lower here, and maybe this one is a tad bit lower as well, and even this one might be just a little bit lower. Yeah. Pretty close to what I had originally, but looks pretty good to me, and it does seem to fit the pattern. And another thing you're looking for, I didn't show you that right yet, is when this sell-off started, I would have been looking for a measured move from here to here, measure that, and you can see we got a little bit more than that. So that would have been my target. Went a little bit lower than that, but this was a pretty strong sell-off, and what people were probably looking for was, here's your first, there's one leg down and a measured leg from that, and you see we still went even a little bit further than that. So once they broke it on through, this was the important level. This was an important level early on, 1993 or so, And you can see how both sides of that are acting as support and resistance. So that was kind of the key area that you had to be aware of. But once we got through that, once we really broke through here, it was off to the races. So I think most of the longs threw in the towel by that time. Uh, but it just got a little weird from here to here almost. Uh, but you just have to go with what you see and draw your short-term trend lines and hope that you're reading it properly. But let's talk about the trades. First trade I saw was this failed second entry long right here. Uh, this one was tempting to take. It's a little breakout pullback short, but it's the first correction. It didn't quite get back to the EMA. This, you know, in the end, it probably turns out that this is your little trend here. You're breaking your new high, but you couldn't at the time. You couldn't necessarily rule out that there's a trend here, and maybe one up through here like so. So you couldn't rule that out, and so there's a good chance that when it bounces here, we may go all the way to. You couldn't rule out, and you see how flat that is. You can't rule out that this is not a trading range yet either. Didn't turn out to be. So I think that one's just a little too risky on a first entry short with not even a good signal bar. By the time you got this bar, you're right there at those lows. If you took it, great, but I just think it was a little risky. But when it pulled back right here, and then you got the failed second entry long, and you're looking for a measured move here. There's your first leg, so I would be looking for a measured move. We didn't quite get that, at least not on that move. I felt like it was probably safe to go short right there on that little trap. And it was a quick, easy move, but that was really all you could get out of it. Then you get the correction, and then look at that big. I don't like that for your signal bar. It's a breakout pullback from this little double bottom. But look at that bar right there. You just put a stop right there. And you know, you figure you're going to test this low again, and it did, and it actually went lower. I don't like going short right there into those lows.
Connection.
Again, you probably don't have this channel in place yet, so you're just guessing as to where it's going to go, other than that measured move. And now we kind of overshot that measured move right there. Oops. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, then you get the a correction, and you get the break. You tried to go higher, you pull back, you try to go higher again, and so that's a second entry short right below this bar right here. It's not a beautiful bar, but what it is you've got that little support area right there, and you can see prices are still already kind of working both sides. And you might have used a limit order here. And I know you could have gotten filled probably right here at the low, but maybe a tick into it, depending on how your chart's set up. It just depends. And then we run to a new low, and we don't go very far, and you pull back, and you got this little channel working up, and that's your first break, and you don't really get a retest of the high. So I didn't like going short right there. Looking back at it, it looks easy now, and you definitely don't want to go short right here, right at that low. Because this is looking kind of rangy again, and there's, you know, we're overdue probably for a correction. So I didn't see any way to get short on this one. If you went short right there, I think it was just a little too risky. But needless to say, then it bounces. I don't like going long yet, but when you get the failed second entry short, you know you're probably coming up to here. But this is a downtrend. If you see this channel, so it's a little aggressive. It's probably counter trend to some degree. But there's a trap, and so if you saw that and you took it, it was a good trade. And then we start working down, but this got so choppy. You don't want to enter in that, and then you don't really have this one. But when you got the trap, notice the new high, pull back first entry, pull back, and when it broke above this bar right here, that's a failed second entry long. And look at it turn. Just put a stop right there and catch it when it goes out the other side. And it was a quick, easy scalp, but then it bounces again. And I don't like going long there. Even though there's looking at it after the fact, I do see a long setup there, but I don't like going long there. Wasn't sure about this line at all, but it did bounce prices. In fact, this was really the first real break of this line Originally I had this a little higher. And so you're looking for a new low. This is a first entry. There are two legs up, but it's a big bearish bar, and then you got the one inside. It's a little aggressive, but if you saw it and you were paying attention to the bigger channel, I'm figuring you're figuring we're probably going to get a retest to the low, and then it tries to go higher again, and it's back right at this trend line, and it turns down again. So I like that one. Then it pulls back yet again. And that's your failed second entry long. Look at that bearish bar. You go short right there. It took some work. You might have gotten shaken out of that one when these ended as dojis. That might have been a clue to go ahead and take it. But if you held on, and it takes a while sometimes. A lot of times it'll do like this, and then it'll shoot right on down. But I'll be honest, if you enter on a bar like that, and a nice trade like that, and then suddenly you start getting all this stuff stacking up, just go ahead and get your tick or two, or whatever it'll give you, even break even if you have to, just to be safe. And of course it would have worked, but it's just real risky. And then now you got a new low, first entry, pull back, second entry short. You definitely don't want to go short right there. And of course it does trap everybody. Again, you don't have a new low in, but there's that short trap, so aggressive traders probably going to take it. And that would turn out to be a really good trade. And then you get a second entry long right there. And this thing, they really ran all they did was really run all the stops from all these people that had gotten short. And when the momentum runs out, the bottom just falls out of it again. That's what happened here. And needless to say, you get a high, you get a little close outside in an attempt, but I don't think you can go short right there. Even this one was a little risky, I thought, because it's right at the EMA. But notice how it tried to go higher again, and it turns down right off that trend line, off those first few bars. And now you've moved so far, I wouldn't risk anything in here. You get the correction, and then another big bearish bar. You're looking for a retest of this low, and you're still looking for an overall low. So I liked this one to the downside. I didn't like this one as much. When it bounced again, it gets kind of risky. But notice the failed second entry. Oh, I didn't mark that one, but there's a failed second entry long there. And so I liked it for a short too. You're going short way at the low. So what I would recommend here is when it breaks lower, use a limit order, and you can see exactly what happened. And that's why that happened. Most of the smart traders say, I'm going to try to get in further back in this bar because it's so close to this low, and they do that. And then notice when they all start exiting, it bounces kind of a little pullback, and then it turns down again. So it's questionable whether or not you would have had a runner depending on where you entered that one. And then I didn't mark anything after that. You're well into the 2 o'clock hour. This was another possibility here. But it's about time for a reversal now. But that's what I saw today. It got a little iffy from about 9:30 to 12:30 or so, but about 1 o'clock it picked back up, and boy did it pick up when you get your second leg down. Because this is one leg down, two-legged correction, then another leg down, and that's, if you went to a bigger picture, you'd see that real easy. So, but anyway, that's what I saw today. I'm not going to extend this one today. I spent 30-something minutes yesterday and was on my soapbox, so I'm going to give you guys a break from that today. But anyway, hope you had a good trading day. Hope you're off to a good week, and we'll be back to do it again tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.